It's that season when politicians make promises and try and outdo each other with SOPs and welfare measures. The Congress party in Telangana, which kicked off the election scenario by announcing 6 guarantees in the state, is heavily relying on its tried and tested methods, which proved beneficial for the party in neighbouring Karnataka, where it won after announcing the 5 guarantees.
To fulfill the aspirations of the people of Telangana, of my brothers and sisters of Telangana, we are announcing 6 guarantees, Mahalakshmi being the first one, and we are committed to fulfilling them, to fulfill each one of them. I, along with my colleagues, had the opportunity to be a part of the birth of this great state, Telangana. Now it is our duty to elevate it to new heights. It has been my dream to see the Congress government in Telangana that will work for all sections of our society.
The Telangana Pradesh Congress Committee bettered its welfare package and unveiled a minority declaration in an apparent bid, obviously to woo the minority communities. But what was the most significant part of the declaration was the Congress's promise to carry out a caste census within 6 months of assuming power, and also ensuring fair reservation for all backward classes, including religious minorities, in jobs, education and government welfare schemes. Let me now, ladies and gentlemen, list out what the declaration said. First up, increase in minorities welfare budget to 4,000 crores along with a dedicated minority sub-plan. Rupees 1,000 crore for subsidized loans to jobless minority youth and women. To amend the Telangana State Minorities Commission Act of 1998 to make the commission a permanent body and table its annual report in the state legislature to make suitable changes to policies for minorities welfare. Under the Abdul Kalam Tohfa-e-Talim scheme, financial assistance of 5 lakhs to Muslims, Christians, Sikhs and other minority youth completing MPhil and PhD. Also, 1 lakh on completion of post-graduation, 25,000 after graduation, 15,000 after intermediate and 10,000 after the 10th grade. Also, the Telangana Sikh Minority Finance Corporation shall be established, it says, to fulfill vacancies in minority institutions. The party has also said that it would revitalize skill development through SETWIN and transform the Quli Qutub Shah Urban Development Authority to develop infrastructure in the old city of Hyderabad. A monthly honorarium of 10,000 to 12,000 rupees for priests from all religions, including imams, muezzins, khadims, pastors and granthis. Land and property records of the Waqf board would be digitized so that people should reclaim and register encroached properties of the board. There is also many other, like protect and allot land for Muslim and Christian graveyards, also repair mosque. Also provide a housing site and 5 lakhs for constructing a house for all homeless minority families under the Indramma in-law scheme. Also 1.6 lakhs to be given to newlywed couples of Muslims, Christians, Sikhs and other minorities. Every party, ladies and gentlemen, you just read the minority declaration. Of course, there was a big complaint that it was delayed, but then here it is now. But I was saying, every party in Telangana tries to woo the minorities whichever way as they can sway the elections. Let's not forget, in 40 odd constituencies and maybe more. For instance, Hyderabad, Nizamabad, Adilabad, Karimnagar, Medak, Mehboob-nagar, Sikandrabad, etc., etc., etc. Not one to be outdone. KCR has in the past announced 1 lakh to one member of both Muslim and Christian communities. And there is, of course, the much touted Shadi Mubarak scheme, Telangana Christian Finance Corporation, etc., etc. You know, I'm going to ask some of the panelists today whether Congress's minorities push will yield any results at all, or it is sheer optics. And please, I am not sitting on judgment on the Congress alone, it is about every party, but because the Congress has released the minority declaration, makes sense. So, let me now welcome all the guests into the debate. Roydin Roach, Congress leader, is with us. Shyama Prasad, Roydin Roach, Congress leader, I think there is some mistake. Roydin Roach is a very, very senior political analyst and journalist. I think I'll have to check on that unless I am forgetting. Shyam Prasad Meka, political analyst, is also with us, who belongs of course to the Congress party. Now Bhanu Chandar Nagarajan, political analyst, and K.S. Prasad is also political analyst. So, welcome to all of you. It is so wonderful to have you today on the show. Shyam Prasad Meka, considering you belong to the Congress party, the first question is for you. I want to ask you that you've pretty much, if you remember a couple of months ago, the minorities had actually, given what we can call the charter of demands, and the Congress has actually delivered on it, to a great extent. But my question will remain what it has remained for many parties, and like I said, Shyam, I am not really sitting on judgment. Look at Abdullah Sheikh Sohail. He left your party and he said very, very clearly how it was getting very difficult for him to kind of function in that party. He is now of course with the BRS. In a meeting with KTR, he ditched me today. Also Kalimuddin, Baba Kalimuddin, he is also leader of the Congress party. They said, money has exchanged hands. They said the Congress is not interested in the minorities. The Congress is only interested in winning election. Shyam Prasad Meka, the floor is yours. Go ahead, explain.
Good evening, Sudha.
Hi.
See, Congress is not interested in any specific section. Congress is interested in the welfare of the state of Telangana and its people. Yeah, there is a minority declaration. If you ask me, I would say the declaration should be more or less focusing on the issues which have their root cause because of the minority. The normal issues are for everybody. So if you want to give a good health care, it's for minority, majority. Everybody should get a good health care. Everybody should get a good education. Those things should be left out of any declarations, and the declarations should focus on specificities. Like because you are a minority, we might miss out looking your perspective sometimes. So to take care of that, I think as a democratic society, we need to pay special attention to such issues. And there is a declaration that came out from Congress party, and Congress party actually, for a change, is not afraid of BJP's strategy to come out and now paint Congress as some sort of a minority only party, right? So they will try to polarize, but Congress is no more afraid of such tactics. We do
Shyam, if I may also ask you that, for instance, Abdullah Sheikh Sohail, one of the grouses, I interviewed him, one of the grouses he had was that why is it being delayed like this? First of all, I am not going to talk about all the allegations, money exchanging hands, cash for tickets and all that makes no sense. But why was it delayed? I mean, what was the delay all about? I know Shabir Ali Saab was helping. That's what I have heard, that Shabir Ali Saab was very much, now who's gone from Kammareddy to Nizamabad. I mean, he shifted, and we'll have to see what it does. But the point, not that because Nizamabad has a huge, minority population, but what actually explains the delay? Because you see, because it concerns those who are in minority, any kind of delay is misconstrued.
No. So, see, we can understand the anxiety of people, but see, Congress party as a national party cannot simply dole out a promise just like that, like any of the other parties, just to who votes. We will check double check the finances, check the legality. We will check if it is morally correct or not. So some of these decisions will take time. Sure, it will, because Congress party functions like India functions. Everybody, I have a different perspective. You have a different perspective. Somebody else have a different perspective. All these thoughts need to play against each other, and then Congress party comes out with a stand. Sometimes it is seen as indecisiveness, and people might get frustrated with it, saying it's a delay. But that's how the country need to function.
All right.
It's not just like, yeah, I know everything, I'm going to make this decision, right? So that's not how Congress
All
works.
right. Okay.
That's,
I mean,
fair
how... enough. Fair enough. And ladies and gentlemen, those who've just joined the South Indian, this is the question we are asking. The Congress's Muslim outreach, considering they are out with the minority declaration, which was long awaited, and that is what today the South Indian is discussing. It is not going to be shouting and screaming. That does not happen on this show. We're just going to sit across each other like matured individuals and speak about it. Roydin Roach, if he's joined us, may I have him on the screen? All right. We shall wait for him. Bhanuchandar Nagarajan, political analyst, is with us. You know, Bhanuchandar, you know, I call me cynical, you know, but the thing is that it all sounds very good, you know, on paper, and optics are important after all. But then the thing is, how much of it gets delivered? Because I am going to ask you, what happened to the 12% reservation made by KCR Garu? It's nowhere to be seen, except for Shadi Mubarak. Let me tell you, none of this other, whether it is scholarship, whether it is kind of giving them some fillip, nothing has worked, and there is no leader in Telangana. Let's not beat around the bush. Who's had the support of the minorities, Banu? Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, Sudha. First of all, like, you know, we have to discuss the public morality of targeting specific castes and specific religions with SOPs during elections. Okay, we will discuss that obviously as we go later, but I just wanted to have a dispassionate look at why they have come up with this. First is, like, maybe this is a strategy that juxtaposes with the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas strategy of BJP. Here they are actually particularly focused on a particular target group to see whether it works. Okay, so they tried it in Karnataka, and I do not know whether they won because of that, but they won. For example, like in the Karnataka manifesto, they said that they will ban Bajrang Dal. Okay. Second is, obviously they are targeting the minority votes, and especially the Greater Hyderabad area, which is usually cornered by the AIMIM. I just wonder whether this splitting of votes, especially the Greater Hyderabad area between BRS, Congress and AIMIM, is actually going to help the BJP. And also this counter polarization in other areas is also a possibility. So I just wonder how they have come up with this scheme and thought about this. Other point that I want to come is like what the issue that you have raised, right? So whether they made so many of these announcements, infrastructure, scholarship, so on and so forth. First of all, will they stand the test of constitution and the legalities? That is something that we have to see. But also another quick point is, like, within the minority declaration, they have also included caste census. So I don't know whether it is poorly drafted or whether it is wordplay. This happened in Bihar also. In the caste census, they said 83% is OBC, but they also had Muslims in it. So it's a bit confusing on what they even when they say minority, what do they even have in mind? These are the things that have to be thought about. And another thing is, I don't think BJP is going to just keep quiet on this. They are going to make noise, and also this will be carried to 2024. That is the strategy that they are following in Tamil Nadu. Just 10 seconds. In Tamil Nadu, what is happening is, like, there is this anti-North Indian politics and the anti-Sanatana Dharma politics that is happening, that is localized to Tamil Nadu, but BJP is taking it to the rest of India. So maybe they will follow the strategy with Telangana as well.
I have to ask you a question, Bhanuchandar, and that is, you know, the Madigas. I mean, the Prime Minister, it's on the anvil that he is going to, you know, announce the subcategorization of scheduled castes at a public meeting, of course, and this has to do with the Madigas, who constitute 60% of Telangana's population. They can actually sway votes in almost 20 to 25 assembly seats. Also, do you think that this is a strategy of the BJP that will kind of land, and particularly Bhanuchandar, do you think that it will come up as a counter to the Daliti Bandhu scheme of KCR and BRS?
So that will come through the SC/ST commission. I don't think the government unilaterally can announce it, and if that is the case, that is the proper procedure. So this is the minority declaration that that Congress has come up with. It doesn't follow those constitutional niceties, right? It is just a public announcement through a manifesto. So I think there is substantial difference, and we should wait for that announcement, because we have to see the details of how it is being crafted.
But in case the announcement is made, what do you think, does it work? Does it land?
Yeah, so I think we have to study it, Sudha. I don't want to comment on it right now.
All right. Now, let me welcome Mr. Prasad also into the discussion. Mr. Prasad, the thing is that KCR Garu has this great ability and talent that he actually micromanages communities, so there is Brahmin Bhavan, there is Christian Bhavan, so on and so forth. So it is not a kind of a huge umbrella, but he breaks it down, much like, if I may say, going back in history, what the colonial masters did to us. I want to ask you, what happened to his 12%? You remember his announcement in Shadnagar where he said, I promise you, I will make, 12% quota will be implemented. Now, how come that he never fulfilled that promise? I mean, considering that the minorities, if you look at it, they can sway the votes in 40 constituencies, and they do have a kind of a presence in Telangana.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to the panelists. Hi. And it's very clear and evident as far as some political leaders and the political heads are concerned. They smartly say certain promises before elections, and when it comes to execution, it's quite impossible. And that's why in the national wide, this SC/ST sub-plan and minority sub-plan, if it is properly implemented, that itself is more than adequate. But there are people of regional parties or people that belongs to the respective state territories, they smartly announce these sort of things. And when it comes to execution, the practical problems will arise, and obviously they couldn't fulfill in full time. Alternatively, they create some sort of Shadi Mubarak and some sort of 1 lakh announcements, and other things will take place, and it will go on and go on and go on. And finally, before elections, people like you will give a large mouth for it, and obviously they have to give all sort of explanations finally. And here in Telangana, one big issue is taking place, MIM party is smartly supporting BRS, that itself is a big flag for them. And with that, they can smartly survive in these elections. That's what the best equations which they are planning and playing against people around. And when it comes to the minority, these things are the 12% promises. When it has not been fulfilled this time again, they smartly says at the time of Rajshekar Reddy, they tried and somehow it has not happened. When Congress wants to do something, finally it has not happened. And this declaration is also just in paper. One of our panelists said very clearly, when it comes to paper, people write so many stories. But execution is the biggest challenge in national wide.
That's what,
if some state implements.
You've nailed it, Mr. Prasad, you've nailed it. It's execution, it's delivery, which is a big question mark, Mr. Prasad. And that is what I was asking Bhanuchandar, and this is what my whole problem is. Optics are great, Mr. Prasad. Where is the delivery?
There is no question of delivery. But if, say for instance, if you have a pain in your leg, they'll give us treatment to the hand. And that's how the political game and gimmicks are taking place. And obviously, when it comes to this, the real need of people are not being addressed. This is what the biggest thing which was taking place in motherland. And Congress colleague is said, we are the people, Indian representatives. India is with a lot of people and a lot of parties with huge tolerance. And that's how the tolerance has come into the ignorantly, and they're smartly saying about this sort of, paper making situations that 4,000 crores will be given to the minorities. Whatever is being implemented by the state politics, state parties, they're adding +1 and -1. This is how the things are taking place. In the smart way, the real minority people and SC/ST sub-plan is being implemented. Everybody, Mandakishna Madiga from Telangana is breaking his head for minorities, this thing, from years together. Nothing is happening. Whoever comes and they're sharing the dash and they're smartly saying, we will do it for your sake. End of the day, that Mala Madhika communities have been breaking their heads for these things. As long as these things are taking place in the respective states, there is no question of anticipating some sort of outcome in this.
Right. Of course, we have yet another guest who's joined us, and I will introduce him to you in a bit. But Roydin Roach, if I can have Roydin Roach, senior political analyst, on the screen. Mr. Roach, you know, you're the best person, because when we talk about all these SOPs, first of all, I want your comment, of course, before I jump into the second question, is, you know, what do you think about this minority declaration? For me, it's pretty much ticking every box that the minorities had said they want, you know, from Waqf board and, you know, their land which has been encroached upon, you know, to scholarships. It seems like the Congress has said absolutely what the minorities want to hear. Would you agree, Mr. Roach?
Well, good evening, viewers. There is a lot of disturbance from your side. I can't hear well.
Okay. May I request the production team?
I think something from the audio, yeah, production team, there's some problem
with
the
production
audio.
Teams. So, sir, if you can you, is it okay for you to speak now, or, you know, should I wait for you, sir?
No, the problem is I can hear this in the background for noise from the production team.
We'll just rectify it. Let me go to Sheikh Mohammed Kalimuddin Saab,
Yeah,
you know, who of course left the Congress, you know. Sheikh Mohammed Kalimuddin Saab, आपको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही? मोहम्मद कलीमुद्दीन साहब, आपको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही?
जी मैडम, आ रही है आवाज़, आ रही, मेरी आ रही है आपको आवाज़?
जी आ रही है, और आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है शो में। मेरा आपसे ये सवाल है कि जब आपको मैंने इंटरव्यू किया था, आपकी बहुत शिकायतें थी कांग्रेस के लिए। अब ये जो माइनॉरिटी डिक्लेरेशन आया है पार्टी की तरफ से, आप उसके बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
देखिए मैडम, डिक्लेरेशन एक अलग चीज है, मुसलमानों को आपने हक क्या दिया, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है
जी।
आप मुसलमानों को, रेवंत रेड्डी जी ने पूरा कुचलने का काम किया। रेवंत रेड्डी जी अगर चाहते तो मुसलमानों को, हमारी डिमांड क्या थी उनसे, हम बोल रहे थे कि मुसलमान असेंबली में जाए, वो एमआईएम का साथ ना दे, एमआईएम को छोड़े और एमआईएम के बीच में गठबंधन ना करे, और मुसलमान जो है असेंबली के अंदर जाए। कम से कम तेलंगाना के अंदर 10 से 11 सीट मुसलमानों को देनी चाहिए थी। हमारा मुद्दा यही था, और हम ये चाह रहे थे कि आप जो भी देंगे, आप बताइए 2008 में 2006 में एक माइनॉरिटी का फंड रिलीज हुआ था राज सेक्रेटरी साहब के पीरियड में, तो वो 21,000 करोड़ रुपए, 2100 करोड़ रुपए हुआ था। वो फंड वापस गया। ये सम्मेलन के अंदर जो शब्बीर अली साहब का डिक्लेरेशन था 5,000 करोड़, और फिर ये लाके बोलते कि 4,000 करोड़, तो ये कहीं ना कहीं ये भी मुसलमानों के लिए चॉकलेट और धोखा है। उससे
तो ये बताइए कलीमुद्दीन साहब, ये बताइए कि आपने कांग्रेस की बात की और कहा कि ये सब ढकोसला है, वो कुछ देते वगैरह नहीं है, लेकिन ढकोसला अगर है तो केसीआर गारू ने क्या किया आपके साथ? 12% का रिजर्वेशन आपका वादा करके वादा खिलाफी की आपके साथ, ये भी तो सच है।
अब हम तो पहले तो केसीआर साहब के खिलाफ ही हम कांग्रेस के अंदर जो है मुसलमानों को हक मिलता बन के कोशिश कर रहे थे, लेकिन अब तो हम खुला रेवंत रेड्डी जी के लिए भी बोल रहे हैं कि ये जो है मुसलमानों को एक चॉकलेट देने का काम कर रहे हैं, और इससे ज्यादा कुछ भी नहीं है। और ये जितने भी आप TWC की मीटिंग के जो बड़े बड़े लोग लाए और मुसलमानों के आइडियल जिनको मानते थे, आज वो तेलंगाना का मुसलमान वो आइडियल को बोलता है कि लोग हमारे लिए खेल खेल दिए और कुछ भी नहीं करे। आप देखिए, जो बंदे मुस्लिम जो कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता है जो मुसलमानों के बीच में जा रहे थे, आपको अच्छे से याद होगा कि बाबरी मस्जिद के इशू के बाद पूरे हिंदुस्तान का मुसलमान कांग्रेस से अलग हो गया। तो हम बार बार यही बोल रहे थे कि तेलंगाना के
जी आप वहीं रुके रहिए, एक मिनट कलीमुद्दीन साहब, एक मिनट। श्याम प्रसाद मेका, you heard what he said, and you know the thing is fantastic, you have a minority declaration, but the point is that there is a question of betrayal. You know, if you look at it a lot, I mean, I'm not saying all leaders are saying you betrayed all of them, no, that is silly to say, but so far as the minorities are concerned, what you did to them, and you know there is a long list, you know, they feel you betrayed them. You know, for instance, Abdullah Sohail Saab, he left, he said I was betrayed, I did so much work, you know, in Hyderabad for my constituency. You just heard what Baba Kalimuddin said. He said कि इन लोगों धोखा दिए हम लोगों को. So the point is that this is what my point is, which Mr. Prasad said very well. You can make as many declarations, sir, but where do you walk the talk when you actually have to empower the minority? Shyam Prasad Meka.
Okay. See, Sudha, let's understand. So first, let me make a factual correction. Maybe it's a slip of tongue. You said Madigas were 60% of the population. No, they are the 60% of the scheduled castes in Telangana.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Second, okay. Now, see, people make declarations. You need to see whether the intent behind the declarations is genuine or not. As simple as 12% reservation for Muslims by KCR, right? 12% from the word go, everybody knows it's not possible because there is a constitutional limitation, there is a ceiling on the maximum percentage of reservation. From the day one, everybody knows. So they just want to attract people, grab some votes. So that's not the way we work. So now coming to your main question, the delivery. Oh yes, just like the minority specific schemes, any other scheme. The problem is we speak at a level and deliver at a different level. That's the problem in general. But we need to fix that. I'm not normalizing. But at the same time, we need to also see what each political party or as a society we are talking about. Now our friend, the speaker just before me was saying about how they were betrayed. No, the problem is if I see what is happening is we are not sticking to issues and ideologies. If Congress party tomorrow doesn't give a ticket to me, I'm going to say it's an insult to Telugu people. Oh, if they actually respect me, then all Telugu people got respect. Am I the sole representative of Telugu people? See, sometimes that is all. I'm not disrespecting any of the leaders also. Sometimes because they have sacrificed so much, they get disgruntled.
But then this, there is a backlash.
So let's not worry about it.
There is a backlash, of course, but of course we'll have to wait for the elections, right, in Roach. Is your audio fine now, sir? Sorry for the trouble.
It is fine. It's fine. Thank you.
Sorry, sir, for the trouble.
No worry.
I just want to ask you, and you're the best person, what do you first, your opening comments about this minority declaration, do you think it's just a piece of paper with beautiful words, or do you think that it also means something? Has the Congress kind of really gone more than it can do to accommodate the minorities, as it were, being over generous?
Well, good evening once again to everyone. See, when we look at the minority, the declaration what was given here today, as the Christian minorities, we felt very quite happy about it, because there are most of the points which we have asked for, something what we have asked for from our declaration, the Christian declaration what we have given. There were a lot of points picked up from it, and even there are a lot of things that some of the people who are involved in the declaration was called by the party, the Congress party, and they have asked about the issues and concerns before it was put into the declaration. That is the first part of the declaration. The second part of it is, now what we are looking for, the manifesto going to come out. So the manifesto is going to play a bigger role, because the declaration is a very small, single document, which they can't add many things into it. So whatever other requirements are there, we have to wait for the minority the declaration is being done. Now we have to wait for the main manifesto to come out. So that is what we have to look for. But the same thing we have given it to the BRS, the same thing. But we haven't heard a single word from the BRS as yet.
All right.
We haven't heard from it.
So you feel Congress has done better, as in you feel you have hopes from the Congress party with this? That's what I gather from what you say, and from the BRS. Yes, sir.
Actually, I was just coming back from a meeting from the community meeting, which was held. And what they felt was the feedback what they have given us is, though I favor the BRS, but what they say is they have given a better they were very quite happy with what happened and what Congress has given them now. So they're waiting for the main manifesto. The same thing, what happened is, the other day there was a delegation of the Christian community which went and met KTR, but they felt that what they felt was very hurting and very disturbing, where they felt humiliated because it has been bishops and all being humiliated over there, and they are very hurt at the moment. So basically the Christian community is hurt, and they have to understand one more thing. The BRS has to understand they have to pull up their socks with the Christian community. The Christian community hasn't got any credit from the BRS. Let me tell you, in the past 9 years, it's hurting me also, because I'm a member, I'm a leader of the Christian community. Also, it's hurting me that the Chief Minister hasn't interacted with the Christian community even once. Not even once in his 9-year tenure. Only when he came to power, the first time he came to power, in the very first second week, he has called some of the leaders went to greet him. Yes, that time it was a different scenario and his attitude was different towards the Christian community. But now it is completely different. So let me tell you, it was very, very insulting and humiliating the other day, the way it was done and the way it was handled. And it was handled by people who didn't know what was supposed to be done.
All right. Okay.
So that is the worst thing which happened. But regarding the declaration, yeah, we are quite happy that some of the points went into it.
All right. Mr. Prasad, I want to come to you, Mr. Prasad, and I want to talk about, the neighboring Karnataka. After all, Congress is kind of emulating what it did in Karnataka, and obviously because in Karnataka, it did have very, very good results, brilliant results. Now, in Karnataka, they say one of the reasons amongst Muslims who were actually traditionally attracted to the JDS, Devegowda's party, they all moved to the Congress because there was a fear inside that this JDS will somehow, shake hands with the BJP, which has happened. Deja vu, but it's happened. They say that pretty much the same scenario is repeating itself in Telangana, because they are saying, a lot of experts are saying, once there is hung parliament or, there is a hung thing, KCR and the BJP may kind of strike a deal and, go forward and try to do something to get power. Do you think that fear is a bogey, or you think that is a real fear which the Muslims or the minorities, are very justified in feeling?
Yeah, it's actually the count of Telangana will start from 7. They pocketed MIM party 7 seats, and apart from that, the 8th onwards, and as long as they'll get more number of these things, others, either may be a BJP or it may be Congress, they'll only pick. And they finally conclude themselves with a slogan of, we have been so fascinated towards Telangana. What Congress has given, what BJP has done. All these stories will pile up. And right now, one of my friend, Congress friend, has categorically said, saying words and putting on paper, it's a matter of fact, as long as it will not execute. This is what is exactly taking place as far as minorities are concerned. Everybody, for eyewash sake, they're saying a lot of stories. And for their momentary sake, they have been mesmerized, and smartly they are getting the votes. And finally, Rose said very clearly that we have been hurt. We have been. Number of people we can count on the hands. Those are all people really hurt by the KCR. Rest all, they know how to sail against. They know how to fall against KCR. This is all. So
are you saying, sir? Are you saying, Mr. Prasad, that this is across board or only for those who are marginalized? Because will they do it with forward castes? I mean, those who have influence. For instance, the Reddys, will they?
Yeah, so it's happening. Everybody is given their safe hands. Like Kamma, this thing, they have given a Bhavan. Brahman, big Bhavan, Reddy Bhavan. All Bhavans will do all sort of marriageal events, library events and other things will take place with those things. Including Kapu community has also given proper land, and all things will fall for the sake of elections. This is how the elections will lead.
Right.
And people like us will only cry. This will not right the way what we are doing and all.
You are as cynical as I am, I must say, when it comes to minority declaration. Mr. Prasad, I have one ally today. Bhanu Chandar, I want to ask you, Bhanu, that the thing is that when we look at KCR, we saw that here was a man who actually took the minorities very, very seriously. I can stick my neck out and say that most of the time it is just optics, happens. Look at the north. Now, the thing is that but the KCR broke the 12% thing, and it did, obviously that it will get into a constitutional wrangle like it did. They said 69% in Tamil Nadu, we know the case, right? The point is, he also broke another problem, another promise, I beg your pardon, which is judicial powers, to the Waqf board. The Telangana State Waqf Board is one of the richest Muslim, as we know, endowment bodies. It's got 5 lakh crores. But the point is that all of that is merely on paper, that he said, I will see to it that it will be done. Also the Hasrat Hussain Shah Wali Dargah land restoration. Beautiful plans. And where is it?
Absolutely. This is going to be a perennial problem. And like we spoke at the beginning, these are just words and they are just using it to fool people. For example, there is in the minority declaration, there is a infrastructure building, housing building plan specifically for Muslims in Greater Hyderabad. I do not know whether it's even constitutionally feasible to just build houses for Muslims alone. I don't know whether it is going to break a few laws. And also, what about the opportunity cost? Like, the 4,000 crores are actually demarcated for welfare. So what is it going to cut against? So I think people are going to ask these questions. And also, they have promised a caste census, but I don't think they have given that like 50% are OB, 50% Telangana people are OBC or BCs. I don't think they have given 50% of tickets to BCs. Similarly for women, so Utni Abadi, Utni Haq, Jitni Abadi, Utni Haq falls flat right away. So I think like a lot of this is hypocrisy, and I think people are going to see through this.
All right,
and,
I think
like what you said, Sudha, we as analysts and media people should actually question on whether these are just words or whether they are going to be practically feasible.
Well, I've said already, Bhanuchandar, that these are just optics, and therefore I'll go to Kalimuddin Saab. Kalimuddin Saab, आज का जो अगर आप तेलंगाना के मुसलमानों की बात करें तो क्या चाहते हैं वो लोग, क्योंकि घर, स्कॉलरशिप, शादी मुबारक, ये मुबारक, वो मुबारक, बहुत अच्छी बात है कि उन लोगों के लिए ये सहूलियतें दी जा रही हैं, लेकिन मुसलमान चाहता क्या है? इज्जत, डिग्निटी एंड पॉलिटिक्स में इक्वालिटी. मुझे नहीं लगता कि मुसलमानों को कोई किसी भी पार्टी ने ज़्यादा वोट सीट्स दिए हैं.
हेलो
जी बोलिए कलीमुद्दीन साहब.
हेलो मैडम, देखिए बात तो यही थी कि कांग्रेस के अंदर मुसलमान ज्यादा तौर से आना चाह रहे थे कि कांग्रेस इंसाफ करेगी, लेकिन हुआ ये कि तेलंगाना के अंदर मुसलमानों के साथ खेला हो गया. और मुसलमान आपकी भीख की, कांग्रेस की भीख की या बीआरएस की भीख की जरूरत नहीं मानते. मुसलमानों को चाहिए कि पॉलिटिकल हक चाहिए और मुसलमानों को जो चाहिए कि कॉर्पोरेशन में जगह चाहिए. हम ये चाहते हैं ऐसे मुस्लिम माइनॉरिटी. देखिए मैं एक मुसलमान हूँ तो मैं जाहिर की बात है मुस्लिम लीडरशिप करूंगा और मुस्लिमों को रिप्रेजेंट क्या बात से करेंगे कि भाई हम तुम्हारे को ये दे देंगे भीख में, हम तुम्हारे को वो दे देंगे भीख में. वो चाहेंगे कि ये बात करेंगे कि कांग्रेस पार्टी अगर चाहती तो ये इलेक्शन के अंदर मुसलमानों को एक जगह कर सकती थी. जो आज वो मुसलमान तकरीबन निकल चुके और वो 2-4 जो पुराने लोगों को पकड़ के अगर चल रही है तो वो बिल्कुल ही उसके ऊपर जो है कोई होने जाने वाली बात नहीं है. और ना तो कांग्रेस पार्टी के अंदर इतना अभी मुसलमानों को
मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहती हूँ चलते चलते कि मुसलमान तेलंगाना का चाहता क्या है.
देखिए तेलंगाना का मुसलमान यही चाहता है कि गवर्नमेंट से हमारे को फायदे हासिल होना चाहिए. तो तेलंगाना का मुसलमान चाहता है कि उसको जो है असेंबली में हिस्सा मिले, उसको पार्लियामेंट में हिस्सा मिले, उसको कॉर्पोरेशन में हिस्सा मिले. ये चाहता है मैडम. अगर ये बोलेंगे कि माइनॉरिटी में 5,000 करोड़ रुपए शब्बीर अली साहब बोलते आके कि मैं मुसलमानों का हम जब एहतजाज कर रहे थे तो शब्बीर अली साहब आए बोले कि हम 5,000 करोड़ मैनिफेस्टो में लाएंगे और कल डिक्लेयर करते कि 4,000 करोड़ रुपए. तो हम ये बोले 4,000 ये 5,000 करोड़ ये तो बकवास बातें हैं. और आप ये पूछना चाहिए था कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट जब थी पुरानी, वो गवर्नमेंट के अंदर लाइंको हिल्स का इतना बड़ा इश्यू चला और जो है मुसलमानों के वक्फ के प्रॉपर्टीज को सेल किया गया. आज वो लेटरों से आप हमारे को सुनवाना चाह रहे हैं कि जो है.
जी कलीमुद्दीन साहब, मेरे पास वक्त कम है, मैं आपसे माफी चाहती हूँ, लेकिन ही इज प्रीटी मच सेइंग व्हाट आई सेड. दे वांट डिग्निटी, दे वांट representation and dignity I think are interchangeable, and that I don't see happening. Just these SOPs which will be written down in a charter, but of course like Mr. Roth said that it's a good thing at least it's better than the humiliation, like Mr. Roth said, that the bishops and some of the senior leaders of the Christian community felt in front of K. Chandrasekhar Rao. But all the parties, this is just optics, this is just saying some beautiful words, but we will have to see how it is actioned upon, and then really we can all say that we are proud of what this country is all about. Thank you very much, all of you. Mr. Roach, my apologies that there was some audio problem. Kalimuddin Saab, बहुत shukriya aapka. Thank you so much, Shyam Prasad Meka, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Prasad. It was a pleasure. Bhanu Chandar, thank you very much. Thank you indeed. And from Telangana, now let's move on to Karnataka. So now we are going to talk about what Sarkara in Karnataka, Commission Sarkara in Karnataka. That's what we've heard since the time when all the parties went for campaigning, and it is still carrying on. One of the main planks of the ruling Congress party at the time of campaigning in Karnataka was pinning the BJP down of being the 40% Sarkara and plastering several walls in the state with PCM posters. Remember them? The commission charge is now being played out yet again, but this time around the shoe is on the other foot. In the latest, Karnataka Information Technology Minister Priyank Kharge alleged that there were close to 500 crores of financial irregularities in KIONIX, or the Karnataka State Electronics Development Corporation Limited, between 2019 and 2023, when the Baswaraj Bommai-led BJP government was in power. Priyank Kharge said that CAG report on the same would be handed over to Justice H.N. Nagmohan Das Commission, which is probing allegations of corruption. Priyank Kharge also accused that items were procured at inflated rates, ranging from 38% to 1,577%. Phew. He asserted that the CAG report found the KIONIX had procured goods at a higher rate without analyzing the market rate, resulting in huge losses.
What the Accountant General audit report says, I think probably they should ask their MLAs to resign. They should ask the previous ministers who was responsible to resign. They have done close to around 500 crores of corruption only in KIONIX, and only we have just scratched the surface. We will dig down deeper and we will figure this out. Absolutely, we are going to audit everything, and more importantly, we are going to hand this case over to Justice Nagmohan Das committee, which is probing into the 40% allegations. To Lokayukta is free to submit any documents that is there. We will investigate. We are not shying away from anything. But the point is, how did this corruption happen? Under whose watchful eye did it happen? So BJP is asking me to resign for a corruption that they did. Most of the procurement that has happened of electronic items are way above the market price. It is ranging from close to around 40% to 1,577%. And that has happened under the watchful eye of the then government. We will audit everything and we'll put it down. We'll put it up for public to decide.
This development, of course, follows BJP's demand for Priyank Kharge's resignation following the charges levelled by KIONIX Vendors Association that they had to pay close to 10 to 12% cut to officials in order to get payments for pending bills. And here's what the CAG findings said. Extra burden of rupees 47.76 crores due to procurement at higher rates, payment of rupees 76 crores without third-party inspection, payment of rupees 71 crores without photo proof and inspection report, payment for material supplied worth rupees 9.98 crores on forged third-party inspection reports. Now, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, the point of the matter is not politics, is it? The actual point is corruption. Whether it's the BJP or the Congress, finally it's the people who bear the brunt of it all. And so far as the Congress is concerned, its holier than thou attitude may just be dimmed even as the Koenig's matter becomes larger than life. Wait for this. This is going to really become something very big post Deepavali. The South Indian is saying it. And with that, the South Indian says, Vanakkam, take care, and for all the news and analysis, that should always be your destination, particularly for news from the South, the South Indian.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं, जो कि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं।